Today I'm checking chat.GPT's veracity regarding its answers on medical science. So I think we'll start by asking it a question about a study I know pretty well, the Sydney Diet Heart Study, and let's have it give a summary about the Sydney Diet Heart Study to start with. Give a summary of the Sydney Diet Heart Study. And it's taking its time to think. Here we go. Alright, so chat.GPT states that the study found that the group that replaced saturated fat with polyunsaturated fat had a reduced risk of death from heart disease. Okay, let's look at what the real study showed. So we're here at the BMJ, and down here at the results, let's go back and see specifically again. Reduced risk of death from heart disease. And down here we see non-significant trends towards increased risk of death from coronary heart disease. So we see here that the results are insignificant. The difference between the control group and the intervention group are not large enough to say that there's a real difference. So this is not in line with the original study. And chat.GPT also failed to report this most important finding here, that the intervention group, the people who got more polyunsaturated fat, had higher rates of death than controls, the other group, the group that didn't change the food. And the chance of dying increased by 62%. I can't see that chat.GPT has mentioned this here. So let's ask it then. Was there a difference in mortality between, let's say, all-cause mortality? That's more specific. That's from any cause, and the way we usually state it in the scientific literature, between the intervention group and the control group. So chat.GPT states that there was no difference in all-cause mortality between the intervention group and the control group, but this is wrong, as we just saw. So in the highlighted area here, the intervention group had higher rates of death than controls, and this is all-cause mortality, 17.6% versus 11.8% in the control group, and that gives us a hazard ratio of 1.62, meaning a 62% increased risk of dying in the group that had their amounts of polyunsaturated fats for eating increased. And this was a significant result. Alright, let's give chat.GPT another chance and state to it what really happened in the study. The original study, as published in the BMJ with DOI number, DOI address, We'll find that here. This is the unique marker for the study. States that there was a significant difference between the control and intervention group. There was a significant increase of mortality in the intervention group of 62%. Alright, so chat.GPT now turns completely around. It does not seem that this was an error. It understood which study it was. This is correct. The Sydney Diet Heart Study was a randomized control and blinded trial conducted in the 1960s and 70s, early 70s, late 60s. So it's got the right study, but when asked specifically, it still doesn't report the results of the most important result of the original study. And when pressed then quite specifically, it flips. My apologies, you are correct. The Sydney Diet Heart Study did find a significant difference in all-cause mortality between the intervention group and the control group, with a significant increase in mortality in the intervention group of 62%. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, but this should already be in its attention. Well, I don't know that for sure, but in any case, I wouldn't trust chat.GPT much for medical science information. Bye for now.